မင်္ဂလာပါဗျာအခုပြောမယ့်ဥစ္စာတော့မြန်မာပြည်ကကလေးတွေတတိထားကြဖို့ကိစ္စပါသူတို့ကဘာလို့အဲ့လိုမျိုးစစ်ပွဲတွေဖြစ်ပြီးပြည်စစ်ဘေးဒုက္ခတွေလေးတွေကလေးတွေပိုစိတ်ဝင်စားတယ်ဆိုတော့ဘာလို့စစ်ဘေးဒုက္ခဖြစ်လို့ပြေးတဲ့အချိန်မှာလူတွေကဘယ်သူမှ birth certificate တွေလည်းမယူနိုင်ဘူးဘာ evidence မှမယူနိုင်ဘာ document မှမရှိဘူးအဲ့လိုမျိုးဟာလေသူတို့ကအဓိကထားတာလေတက်လားအဲ့ဒါကြောင့်တတိထားစီခြင်းတယ်တင်ပြတာပါ okay ပါဟုတ်ကဲ့ဘာဖြစ်လို့လဲဆိုတော့အခုယူကရိန်းမှာစစ်ပွဲတွေဖြစ်တော့ကလေးတွေဒုက္ခဖြစ်နေတယ်ဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းပေါ့နော် documentary လိုမျိုး XCI လား FBI လားမသိအဲ့လူအပါဝင်ပေါ့နော်အဖွဲ့ကသွားပြီးတော့သွားလို့ရင်လည်းအဲ့မှာကလေးလေး camp ဒီမှာတွေ့ရတယ်ပေါ့နော်တွေ့ရတဲ့ဟာအဲ့ဒီစပြီးတော့တဲလုံစားလိုက်တာအကြီးကြီးသွားတွေ့တော့သူတို့ကတိလေးပဲတော့ရိုက်မယ်ဆိုပြီးသူတို့ပတ်စံနဲ့မလုံလောက်တော့ခင်ဗျားတို့ကြားဘူးလားမသိရုပ်ရှင်မင်းသား Mel Gibson ဆိုတော့အော်ဇီယာမွေးတာပေါ့နော်ဟောလိဝုဒ်မှာသွားပြီးတော့နာမည်ကြီးနေရပေါ့ Mel Gibson လူတိုင်းသိပါတယ်နာမည်ကြီးမင်းသားသူစီအကူကြီးလှမ်းတောင်းတော့သူကနေပြီးတော့ထောက်ပံ့ပြီးတော့ documentary ၄ ခု40တွေအကြီးအထူးသဖြင့်အဲ့ဒါကြောင့်စစ်ဖြစ်နေတဲ့နေရာကလေးတွေတတိထားကြောင့်အဲ့ဒါကိုကြည်ရင်လည်းကျွန်တော်အဲ့ဒါတော့တိရငါတို့စီမှာစစ်ဖြစ်နေတဲ့နေရာကလေးတွေအထူးသဖြင့်အရန်တတိထားကြဖို့ဟောလေ sex trafficking ဆိုတဲ့ဟာမျိုးလုပ်ကလေးလေးဟိုကာမဆက်ဆံမှုရောင်းစားတဲ့ဟာတွေလုပ်ကြအဲ့ documentary US မှာဆိုလို့ရှိရင်လည်းဗာလဲ8000ကျော်ဆိုတော့မသိ missing ဖြစ်တယ် every year နှစ်တိုင်းမှာအဲ့ဒါတော့တွေ့လိုက်နားတော့ကြည့်အဲ့တဲ့တင်းနေ
on the organ harvesting that's been taking place. That's another story for another day. We now know that Mel Gibson is about to release this documentary because the man who leads the global effort to stop child trafficking, one of the men who leads this, is Tim Ballard. And he told us so. This is Tim Ballard. He's a husband, father, former CIA, former DHS special agent, undercover operator who left.
You know, a CIA agent to undercover operation low. I was a Ukrainian war.
Left and founded Our Rescue, which is a nonprofit that helps to stop this. Here's what their website says. We exist to rescue children from sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. We lead the fight against child sex trafficking and sexual exploitation around the globe. We will not give up and will continue to go to the darkest places until the light is restored and every child is protected. So they exist to...
child trafficking into Botoara. The how a good loman documentary read Dora Mo. Allow yet Dora. Why in a young town job me?
Stop these children from being exploited. If you're looking for a charity to support, you know, we were talking about Oxfam a minute ago. Maybe you donate, you know, the money that you were going to over there. Maybe this is a better charity for you to be putting your money into. I can't think of a better one at the moment, to be honest with you. We've reached out to Tim to join us here on the show because we would love to share Tim's message and help any way that Redacted can. So we hope that Tim will be a guest on the show. It turns out that Tim Ballard is working directly with Mel Gibson to show the world the horrors of this $34 billion operation. He published this message on social media, which is now legend because Mel Gibson is now trending all over Twitter. Yes. Why? Because of this. Tim Ballard can't wait to tell you exactly why Mel Gibson is wearing this hat, which is the Our Rescue hat. Big announcement coming soon. And then Tim gave a speech. This speech a short time ago explaining how Mel reached out to him when he found out that what was unfolding in Ukraine. He asked him for help to stop it. Orphans that he supports in Ukraine, get them out of there. Can you help them? And to get the kids out of this area. Tim asked for help in getting the word out, and maybe they could film this process, teach others about what's going on in this world child sex trafficking. He thought that they were going to be just covering what was happening in Ukraine. Turns out it was a much bigger story than they could even imagine. Watch him explain his contact with Mel Gibson.
I told Mel, I said, you got to help me. This is going to be expensive. I won't ask you for direct donation, but can you help me film this? You know, let's film what's happening so we can get people to understand and they can support us. He said, no problem. He helped us get set up and started filming. 4 months later, what I thought was going to be maybe a documentary about Ukraine ends up being a 4-part docuseries that's almost done. It's being produced by DNA Films and executive produced by Tony Robbins. That's how crazy it got and how prophetic my wife was. When I showed up in Ukraine with a list of, I think, 20 names, the Ukrainians countered me and gave me over 10,000 names of orphans that they...
Do a documentary, yeah. NAD, tu tira, Luna Selabe, a sex traffic, a Kalilio, Kamaki Sana, Young Sada, tu tira, I'm yet documented Yana to Tia information mobile. Na Selabe, she there, Ukrainian to Apia, Ukraine, Yam your pay later to Tappy pay later. The found Joe 10,000.
They didn't know where they were.
ပြောင်းနေတယ်ဘယ်နာရောက်နေမှမသိ
$67.
ဘယ်နာရောက်နေမှမသိပြောင်းဆိုတော့အခုအ documentary 40တွေထွက်လာတော့အကြီးကြီးဖြစ်သွားအခုအဲ့ဒါကြောင့် mainstream media တွေကဒီဟာလေးမပေးသိစေချင်အခုတကယ်သွားရိုက်ထားတဲ့ကောင်လူဟာတခြားလူမဟုတ်တော့ XCIA ထွက်လာတော့အထွက်လာခင်ဗျားတို့လည်းကြည်ကျုပ်လည်းထွက်လာလို့ရှင်တင်ပေးမယ် interesting ဘလူလီမြသူလို့ဘလူဒီကလေးလေးကိုထုတ်ပြီးတော့တည်သွားတယ်ဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းပေါ့နော်ဥအဲ့မှာကလေးတွေနေခဲ့တဲ့နေရာလေးသွားတွေ့ခဲ့တဲ့ကောင်နည်းနည်းလေးတော့ documentary လေးတွေ့တယ်အဲ့ဒါလေးကျွန်တော်တင်ပေးလိုက်ဟာအင်မတန်မှကြောက်စရာကြီးဗျာကြောက်စရာဒီကောင်နဲ့စစ်ပွဲစဖြစ်တဲ့တရားလေးဖြိုပြက်လိုက်ပြီးတော့သူတို့ကတိုက်တွေကိုလူနေတဲ့နေရာတွေတိုက်တွေကိုဒါရိုက်သူတို့ကပြစ်ခတ်တာပြစ်ခတ်ပြီးတော့အဲ့လူတွေထွက်ပြေးတဲ့အခါကျမှအဲ့ကလေးတွေကိုသူကောင်ကမှအနောက်မှာကျွန်တော် threat တင်ပေးပြီးတော့ဆိုတော့အဲ့ဒါသွားကြည့်ရင်လည်းကျွန်တော်သွားတတိယခင်ဗျားတို့ဘယ်မှပြီးမှနည်းနည်းတတိထားကြစစ်ပြစ်နေတဲ့နေရာမှာဒီလိုလာပြီးတော့လှုပ်ရှားမဲ့ကောင်တွေဝင်မဲ့တချို့ကဘာလုပ်လဲဆိုတော့အဲ့ camp နေမှာရှိတဲ့လူတွေစီကအဲ့အတွင်းနေဒီကောင်တွေကတတ်ပြီးတော့အဲ့အတွင်းတွေဟာယူပြီးတော့ရောင်းစားတာတွေပါလုပ်ကြဆိုတော့အေးဗျဒါတွေ့ရတဲ့ဟာတတိပေးချင်တာပေါ့နော်တခြားတော့မရှိပါဘူးအဲ့ဒါလေးကိုကလေးတွေပါတွေညာတွေဆိုလည်းတတိထားကြပါဘယ်သူ့ကိုမှတိတ်မရောပါနဲ့ဟုတ်လား
That the United States alone, 800,000 children yearly go missing in the United States.
800,000. You know what? 80,000 mawala. Compare US ma taniku 800 that shit thing. Clearly ပြောက်တယ်ဆိုတော့ဒီနမဆောင်တွေကအခုလိုမျိုးမဖွံ့ဖြိုးသေးတဲ့နေရာတိတ်ပြီးတော့တိညာမရှိတဲ့နေရာတွေဒီကောင်တွေရောက်လာမှာနော်အဲ့ဒါကိုနည်းနည်းသတိထားစေချင်တယ်ဟုတ်လားဟိုကိုဒီမှာပူနေတယ်ဆိုတာသိတယ်ပြဿနာရှိတဲ့သိတဲ့အခါကျတော့ဒီကောင်တွေကအဲ့လိုမျိုးသိရမလားမကောင်းတဲ့ကောင်တွေကအခွင့်အရေးယူဟုတ်လားဒီရမျိုးအဲ့ဒီတင်းလေးတွေ့တော့သွားတတိရပမာပြေငါတတိတော့ပေးလိုက်အောင်မှာပဲဟုတ်လားမပြည့်လူတွေဟုတ်ကဲ့ဒါလေးပဲပြောချင်တာပါတွေ့တူတော့မရှိပါဘူး bye bye ပါ
not as obvious as what we're seeing here. Take a look at what we're seeing here. You start seeing nothing but children's clothes, blankets, little girls' articles of clothing, little boy or girls, little boy shoes, more little girl undergarments, little girls' shoes, little girls' shoes, more little girls' shoes. Another, I don't know if it's a woman or another girl's shoes. And there's baby bottles all the way in there. And just to show you guys, there's multiple baby bottles in here. Baby formula, little girl jackets. What's that medicine to the left? Gloves? Pacifiers?
That's not a pacifier, that's a diva cup.
Latex gloves? Like, they had tons of kids in here, guys. Tons of babies in here, wrapped in blankets. Their evidence is here. The government is complicit in all this. They have children out here like dogs. This is incredible. This is a child camp, guys. You can't tell me that what we're seeing here and showing you guys, this is a child camp. This is a child camp. Look, Enfamil. Somebody's bringing them Enfamil all the way out here to maintain these children before they get trafficked into the thirsty United States of America.
Some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. The other working assumption is, how long do these children survive within this system? What I am hearing from the witnesses that I've talked to is 2 years. It may be longer. It may be 4 years. It may be 6 years. But by and large, these children are so abused. I mean, we're talking rapes by the hour and so forth, that they reach their expiration date within 2 years. And then they're murdered with impunity, or they're ritually murdered if that's what they've been bred for.
Is now trending all over Twitter.
Yes.
Why? Because of this. Tim Ballard can't wait to tell you exactly why Mel Gibson is wearing this hat, which is the Our Rescue hat. Big announcement coming soon. And then Tim gave a speech, this speech a short time ago, explaining how Mel reached out to him when he found out that what was unfolding in Ukraine. He asked him for help to stop it. Orphans that he supports in Ukraine, get them out of there. Can you help them? And to get the kids out of this area. Tim asked for help in getting the word out, and maybe they could film this process, teach others about what's going on in this world of child sex trafficking. He thought that they were going to be just covering what was happening in Ukraine. Turns out it was a much bigger story than they could have even imagined. Watch him explain his contact with Mel Gibson.
I told Mel, I said, you got to help me. This is going to be expensive. I won't ask you for direct donation, but can you help me film this? You know, let's film what's happening so we can get people to understand and they can support us. He said, no problem. He helped us get set up and started filming. 4 months later, what I thought was going to be maybe a documentary about Ukraine ends up being a 4-part docuseries. It's almost done. It's being produced by DNA Films and executive produced by Tony Robbins. That's how crazy it got and how prophetic my wife was. When I showed up in Ukraine with a list of, I think, 20 names, the Ukrainians countered me and gave me over 10,000 names of orphans that they didn't know where they were.
This is not a war where people are living by the Geneva Convention. It's a war of terror. Intentionally targeting civilian populations.
We got reports overnight that 3 rockets hit near Kyiv.
Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, as it comes under renewed fire.
For example, the Ukrainians will blow out a bridge, and so the Russians can't get into Kyiv. They can't take the capital, and so out of frustration, they will turn their tanks on innocent civilians. blow up residential centers, blow up apartment buildings.
People bound and executed on the sides of roads. There were kids that were found in cellars that looked like tortured, some missing ears.
It's the only way they can actually occupy here is to terrorize people till we get them.
We cannot stand by and do nothing. Already there's thousands upon thousands of displaced women and children, and they're destitute. They don't have means to travel or take care of themselves, and so they're going to take opportunities. And the traffickers know that, so the traffickers will provide that opportunity.
Human traffickers are at the borders, taking advantage of the Ukrainian refugee crisis.
We try to discuss, especially women and young girls, to have some preventive measures.
Real dangerous propositions. Annual global profit from human trafficking is around $32 billion.
Luring women into slavery and prostitution, and taking children to sell them.
So then we started kind of putting together a team. Aerial Recovery led the effort. Their group is made up of former special ops, so they know exactly how to work in hot zones.
In the first 2 weeks, there was already hundreds of children reported missing from crossing the border.
And we started running operations to go into the bombed out zones. It's very dangerous. Sometimes bombs are going off.
There were mines that we just passed on the side of the road.
There are Russian checkpoints that'll just kill you for being American.
At the same time, this Dutch policeman knows our work, and especially in Latin America and in Mexico, and said, hey, you guys, we just got the craziest lead. A Dutch pedophile who has been charged and is about to stand trial for raping little boys, he took off and fugitated to Mexico. And he's looking to traffic Ukrainian war victims into Mexico, into his pedophile market. He's famous because he's a political activist trying to make legal sex with children as young as 2 or 3 years old.
Even if you somehow lured a kid in such a thing, a child can't understand what's happening. A child can't say yes to such a thing.
OUR was able to make contact with this suspected child predator.
My undercover persona is introduced to him as a guy who traffics kids out of Ukraine. We had Ukrainian undercover operators for the first time.
And I was supposed to be believable that I'm young, naive.
With makeup, I can make her look like she's 12, and she'll be the bait. We now have a list of his lieutenants, and we don't know where they are. But we think he certainly knows where they are.
And we're focusing in on that location where this group has created a sex hotel.
It produced child rape videos of little boys.
The next 6 hours are critical because this is when all the pieces need to come into play.
This is trafficking, not prostitution. These are victims, not volunteers. This is not something out of a Hollywood movie.
There is a movement right now to desensitize the world to the sexualization of children.